Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day Wednesday to one and to all. Perhaps it is Thursday, depending upon where you are on the globe. Trusting everyone is doing well and always an opening. Please give yourselves a round of applause for making it to and through another day because, as we know, not all of us can say that. If you're wondering why my voice sounds the way that it does, I have been fighting and fighting and fighting. One with an unscrupulous individual that is taking quite a bit out of me. I try not to get too upset about things because it's not good for my health. And then last week, which I did not share, but I will today because what is today? Oh my God. Oh my God, I forgot what today is. That's really bad. I think it's the 18th. So, yes, I think it's the 18th. But yesterday, the 17th, was my official 1 year anniversary back to work without restrictions from being in the hospital last year in a really, really bad place where I almost didn't make it out. A lot of people's well wishes and laughter, especially to the late lady DJ. You helped me so much, and it still hurts me knowing that while you were helping me get through, you were going through. So, again, rest in peace to you, and you will never be forgotten. Last week, I wasn't feeling well at all. And I know when something is different. And when I went to the doctor, they said I had a little bit of fluid build up on my lungs. So that's something I have to deal with. And then my kidney function is elevated. Not a lot, but again, when you have lupus, you have to really be careful because a lot of your organs can be affected. I'm already dealing with my lungs, so it's life. I've accepted my inevitable long ago. But what I wanted to talk about is one thing I cannot stand. Pirate King, you may want to stay around for a little bit, and blessings to you. Blessings to Twin as well. One thing I cannot stand is someone to lie on me and just lie, period. Now, I can say that I'm guilty of stretching the truth. And I've said and will always say, my hands are not clean. Well, they're a lot cleaner than they used to be. And I have said and done things in the past that I'm not proud of. But at the time, I felt that I was justified because I don't really like when people come at me for no reason. So I will say things, I will actually check on some things. Now, these past couple of weeks, at least for those in, I guess, the sector, I think a lot of people have grown and branched out, but then you still have a lot. There's been a kerfuffle with a couple of content creators on here. And I want to address some things. Some people seem to forget I have been around for a long, long time. And I have a war chest. And when I say a war chest, I'm not embellishing, of ammunition that it could have flown a couple of tops a long time ago, but I chose and still choose not to go that route. I try, and I'm being very serious. I try really hard to like people because nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. And while I understand the anger of some people, I also understand that when you're dealing with certain things or have dealt with certain things early on or perhaps later in life, because trust me, people are going through things in their midlife, in their 40s and 50s, that life has just happened to them. So I don't agree. And you can feel how you want to feel about it, but this is how I feel about it. I don't agree with the bashing of that because you don't know what may have caused people to be in the positions that they are, and if they're actually making, and that's the operative phrase here, if they're actually making a concerted effort to make changes, then I think they should be afforded the opportunity. And yes, people are going to stumble, people are going to backslide. It's just a part of a process. But when you have someone that has it in them to lie and lie and lie and cover it up, or at least think that they're covering it up over and over and over and over. And when people actually show proof and it's still overlooked, that's a problem. Now, as humans, there are some people, if they don't like one person, they are most of the time automatically are going to agree with someone else and believe that it's a lie or it's altered or made up. Well, as long as I've been on here, I don't do much of the backwards and forth. I've engaged in some, but for the most part, not much. So I don't have absolutely no reason to make up anything. Now, Patchhead, I still don't care too much for your tactics and antics, but some of the things that you said set off a signal, and it reminded me of something. Spidey, and I hope neither one of you get upset, but this is just my commentary and my feelings, and I'm entitled to that. I understand the reason for your being so tenacious in what it is that you're trying to, I guess, prove, but, and this is just a little but, and I'm saying it out of love. You may want to check your ego just a little bit. And I say that because sometimes when we get overzealous and start talking too much, especially, especially when we've done things in the past that's come back to bite us, Mistakes can happen. So, again, you don't have to listen. Most people don't. And trust me, I have tried to talk to an individual until I was blue in the face to please stop doing this BS because it's not going to end well. And let me preface this before I go any further. I did a live last week and I put up a bunch of receipts. So I know you're going to get upset and angry and probably command for the organization, the firm, the, the what else is out there? The newsroom. I don't know. And at this point, I don't really care because I've got one on my own and I've had it for a while. But now I'm in a position I can actually do some major damage. So, again, I'm going to suggest that this stops because I'm getting ready to put up a few things. And these are things that I knew a long time ago. And I have said so many times. And I think people thought, and I'm going to use the word of Johnny Blaze. And I like to give people credit. I think some of you thought that I was pump faking. No, I don't pump fake. I like to rain threes like the great Reggie Miller, number 33 of the Indiana Pacers. See, I like sports too, for those of you who didn't know that. So, hey there, April, how are you? Blessings. There are some people that enjoy entertainment. I do too. But lies and deceit, no. A friend to everyone is a friend to no one, in my humble opinion. And someone, in my opinion, who falls out with several, who falls out with several, is a red flag. And for those of you that I've heard say positive things, I'm not going to discredit that because there have been some positive things. Absolutely. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this person is total BS to the scum of the earth. I can't say that because I know of some of the conversations. But, but, in contrast, I also know the vindictive nature. And if you go against the grain, trust and believe. If you didn't have a folder before or a file before, you have one now. You have one now. Before I get into my little quick presentation, There's a creator out there. He and I had some issues years ago. I have no problem with him. I don't think he has a problem with me. I would like to believe that. I've said nothing negative, and I've been welcomed, so I'm going to believe that. Not sure if you know this or not, but you have a file too in reference to, I'll just say, the devil's cabbage. Yeah, you do. Biz. You please believe a certain individual is your ally. Have you ever stopped to think who may have given your paperwork to another content creator and have them read it out to absolve them from being involved? See, there are people on here that play the fence. You have snaked me not once, but twice, but three times. You tried to pit me against someone else. That didn't work. You don't want to see black man in jail. Okay, I'm not going to speak on that right now. I'm just going to let that simmer. I will say this, and again, it's my opinion. I believe certain people align themselves with certain people in order to catapult themselves into a certain position. People need to remember how certain people came on this particular platform, some of the things they did prior to. Someone did a live and they were talking about troll accounts. And I believe a lot of people troll. As a matter of fact, as I said before, when I was being trolled and people would come in and say things or pretend to be friendly, I knew who was behind many of those accounts. Now, what I'm going to put up are a few images of someone who is no longer with us. And you're going to wonder, well, what is the importance of that? If you pay attention, because I'm an analytical person, And like I said, I don't really play a lot of games on YouTube. It isn't worth it. I go outside of YouTube and handle things. For those of you who may not care too much for a couple of content creators, keep in mind, I'm not on here, quote unquote, beefing backwards and forth with anyone. So again, I have absolutely nothing, nothing to lie about. And I'm just curious after these couple of receipts, and they're small, what excuse, or let me not say excuse, what explanation will be given for this? Exhibit 1. And again, rest in peace to you, toothless tiger. These are screenshots, ladies and gentlemen. Some people may recognize some of the names in the chat. Others of you who are not in the know won't know. Here's another. And another. I believe at this time there are a lot of people saying some cool things to Miss Toothless Tiger, and apologies were being given. Hopefully, you all were able to see that. So, some of you might be thinking, okay, you put up screenshots. What does that mean? Well, I want you to think really hard because, first, I didn't take these screenshots. So, that's number one. Earmark that. I did not take these screenshots. And look at the very bottom where it says chat as. That means, or I'll just say, it usually means if you're in the chat and you're taking the screenshots, your screen name will be there. So let's look at this one more time, really carefully, class. Look at the very bottom of each of these screenshots and look at the name where it says chat as. I blocked that person from my chat years ago because I knew that was a troll account. So again, I'm not going to reveal how this was acquired. But look at the screen name. So for those of you who may doubt some of the things that have been said, some of the receipts that other people have put up and has brushed it off as they're doctored or they're made up. Those were not doctored. Those were not made up. Hey there, Sis Joy, how are you? Hey there, Cheryl, how are you? Those, ladies and gentlemen, were not made up. So just because you may not like or care too much for certain individuals, don't be so quick to believe what they're saying to you is not true. How would I know this? Hmm, think about it. How would I know this? There's no way, even though I have some talents, there's no way I could have created those screenshots and the screen name, which was actually a troll name. One of many troll names that people have tried to tell certain people, but they didn't want to believe it. And some of you are still not going to believe it. And it's okay. It's okay. You're going to like who you like, no matter what. Until, and that's the operative word here, until they decide to turn on you. And trust me, some of you have no idea what's been done or said. I know how to keep water, and I've kept a stockpile for years. But this right here was very important for people to see. Now, you're still going to continue to dislike others, and I get that. That's just part of social media. That is just part of life. But what you can't do, I mean, you can, but it's going to be very difficult for anyone to make a claim and make it stick that I created any of those screenshots and that troll name. I don't agree with the back and forth, and I've said that we are getting too old. There are too many things going on in life, and keep doing this. You don't know what you're doing to your health. You don't. You might feel good on the outside, but you don't know what's going on the inside unless you're truly getting your exams. So, in closing, everybody can't be making up the same things. It would make no sense. I would suggest you take away your dislike for a content creator and look at the actual facts that have been put up and ask yourself, hmm, is it possible that some of these things told are possibly lies? I think you'll get your answer. This commentary again is in reference to this kerfuffle with a few folks and just a little bit of confirmation that there's some truth in what some people may think are lies because they don't like or they don't care for certain content creators. Be careful with whom you interact with. As I said before, yes, people can change. I've seen it. But there are some who may change a little, but a lot of the darkness is still there. And if you're dealing with someone with a vindictive spirit, it would behoove you to be very careful in how you deal with them. One thing, if you have not learned anything from this broadcast, most liars, no matter how good they think they are sloppy. And they forget things like the troll name. As I said, I've known this for a long time, at least as far as that particular person was. There are a lot of troll names out there. And I could throw out a couple more, but I believe this has been sufficient, at least for now. These type of games need to stop. And I'm speaking to everyone right now. It needs to stop. I understand anger and hurt feelings. I have anger, I have hurt feelings, but I'm not going to go to certain lengths. I'm just not. Everybody stay hydrated. That's crucial to those who are healthy and those that are dealing with things because it is extremely hot out here. Again, I hope, you all paid attention I mean, really paid attention, and then go back and listen to a couple of people, and then piece some things together and see if you're going to continue to believe certain things, or even if not publicly, if you're going to start to question certain things. As I said, if it can be done to so many other people, what makes you think you are any different? Until next video, everyone, please be safe, be well, and be out there.